Hello, this is Dr. Do again. This video is still on alphabetic list problems on letter T. Today I'm going to talk about the thrombocytopenia and the thrombosis. These are the medical terms for decreased platelet or increased platelet. I think on the section of platelets I mentioned briefly about the risk of decreased platelet and increased platelet, what the impact for the body. Of course, if it's not enough, you know it is causing the bleeding. If it's too much, then cause thrombosis, cause the stroke or cardiac attack, or etc. But today I'm going to focus on spend a little more time on either one, thrombocytopenia first. So this is if the platelets less than 150K. Okay, so that's usually the definition. And also, if the platelets not enough, not necessary you have spontaneous bleeding or you have any symptoms. So usually, that is the danger part, because you do not know. The platelets is continuously probably in the chronic of the process of decrease, but you do not know until decrease to the threshold causing spontaneous bleeding. So then, since I talk about this, let's just bring the emergency situation associated with this thrombocytopenia. Of course, if the platelet is not enough, less than 5K, for example, you will have spontaneous bleeding. It's not critical, but you will have either from nose or from somewhere. If that's the case, definitely it's emergency. And if it's lower than 2K, 2,000, then it's really the critical. The bleeding cannot be stopped. It's really life-threatening. So regardless, especially when I talk about the etiology, I will tell who are at the risk of this kind of thrombocytopenia, cause the critical bleeding. And also associated with this decreased platelet, you can have the petechia and also change the color, the nasal bleeding, or under the skin, subcutaneous, you see easily to get bruised. So if that's the case, even though it's not emergency, I think you probably it's good idea to get your physician noted and to see your physician to test, to examine your platelet number, make sure it's not low. So basically, compared to the thrombosis, which means increased platelet, the thrombocytopenia is really not that dangerous unless the number is really low, like decrease than 5K, decrease than 2K, and decrease than 10K. Sometimes can have bleeding with some procedures, but usually it's not. It's not that critical. So that's the good thing about this platelet not enough thrombocytopenia. In terms of the etiology for this thrombocytopenia, many causes, sometimes idiopathic, which means do not know the cause. That's the fancy term for unknown the causes, unknown etiology for idiopathic. So without knowing any causes, after the variety of workups, nothing can find why your platelet is low. Then it just it's there sometimes, but and also some chemicals, medications can cause this decreased platelet, and also some infections, either viral, bacterial infection, and some, of course, the bone marrow diseases can cause this the platelet decrease, because the bone marrow cannot produce the platelet. So that's the major causes. In terms of management, like I said, a lot of people probably just live with this low platelets, lower than the normal threshold, but it's above the level, can cause either spontaneous bleeding or bleeding with trauma or bleeding with procedures. So a lot of people just live with it. And but if you, particularly for those who are older people with medical conditions, taking some medications, either chemo medication or other medication, and you develop this bruise, easily get bruised, and also a nasal bleeding, that's probably indicating something is going on. You need to see your physician, even though it's not emergency, but still need to see your physician to get it examined and to verify everything is okay, to test, to diagnose, and also if necessary to stop the medication or change the medication. So basically this is the thrombocytopenia. The other case, I think, a scenario I mentioned before, increased platelet. I think it's like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's more dangerous compared to decreased platelet, because increase the platelet is kind of the cascade of coagulation is amplified by itself. The threshold is lowered. So if you have too much platelet in the blood, decrease the threshold to cause the thrombosis. Decrease the threshold to get coagulation cascade start to activate and then form this thrombi. So this is about the increased platelets. What are the causes for those thrombocytosis, which means increased platelets? Many causes again. Usually it's associated with, for example, the responsive, reactive anemia, for example, or the bone marrow couldn't produce enough red blood cells or white blood cells, then reactive to this, so the body produce more platelet. That's the cause. And also either the dehydration or the spleen function is not well, which means usually the platelet, the red blood cells, if you recall, at the end of the life, they're going to circulate it in the spleen. Spleen will degrade it to break it down. And if the spleen function is not well, then cause this increased platelet in circulating the body. So this is about the major, of course, sometimes malignancy, either the bone marrow or just any kind of malignancy can cause this thrombocytosis. So this is increased platelets. Of course, this is the etiology and the consequences for this increased platelet. As I hinted before, it's just cause the easily to form the thrombi and increase the risk of other diseases, either the stroke, of course, it's one of them, and also the heart attack. So etc. Just increase the risk of the thrombi to form circulating the body. So this is about the thrombocytosis, which means increased platelet. Anyway, so this is I think I had a video previously. In terms of the management, like I said, increased platelet, you probably do not know until one day, or if particularly for those who did not do the test for a while, or until the moment that you have some without known cause of the stroke or increased risk of coagulation caused other diseases. Sometimes it could be the clinical scenario without known increased platelet, because it's basically asymptomatic. But anyway, so this is the taking home message for this video is get regular blood check, either every year or every 2 years, depends on your individual, your health condition and your physician, and to check, make sure every number is in the range. If it is too low, if it is too high, your physician will notice and monitor you. So I'm going to stop here, and again, I did not think about this topic until I sit here. I hope it helps. I hope I stated clearly, but take home message to check with your physician. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.